Contrary to popular belief, MMA isn't just a young man's sport. While younger fighters tend to dominate the game, older, or shall we say veteran fighters can still make a name for themselves as UFC legends. Today we're taking a look at some of the oldest fighters in the UFC. This is Ultimate MMA. He's one of the UFC's more colorful characters. 43-year-old Yoel Romero is a well-established Olympic wrestler and mixed martial artist who made his UFC debut at UFC Fox on 7 against Clifford Starks.
To a guy who's a dangerous knockout artist today.
Oh, knee. That rock is looking to finish it. And it's all over. Wow. Yoel Romero, the winner in his UFC debut.
He won by knockout in the first round and scored Knockout of the Night honors. His third fight was at UFC Fight Night 35 against Derek Brunson. The first couple rounds didn't look good for Romero, but he came back in the third round with some punches and elbows that secured him a TKO victory.
Some big shots, and look at this. Yeah, now Brunson's got to be careful. The hands are starting to lower, and Romero is starting to gain confidence. Cracks again there.
What I like from Romero is he's starting to slip his head off that center line. Another big left hand, and it's hurt Brunson.
And Derek Brunson is wobbling now. Down goes Brunson.
Romero trying to finish him off now. Brunson on his back. He has to pull it on. Brunson does not have his mouth guard.
We're going to get
he hasn't responded here.
Stoppage has got to be coming soon. Man alive, Yoel Romero has done it again.
What a comeback from Yoel Romero.
This gave Romero the Fight of the Night bonus. After making a name for himself, Romero was eager to go after the middleweight championship.
Flying knee. He knocked him out. Wow. That's it. This fight's over. It is all over. Yoel Romero. Wow.
After knocking out former champion Chris Weidman at UFC 205, Romero was set up to battle it out with Robert Whittaker for the interim championship at UFC 213.
Been a lot of those collisions as both men try to advance.
It looked like Whittaker ate a knee to the chest, though, and beautiful level change from Romero. Let's see if he can get some top time here, though, staying heavy.
But Romero would lose that fight by unanimous decision. Since then, Romero has been in a long battle with weight cuts and losses, but he's still in the game. Most recently, the Soldier of God challenged Israel Adesanya for the middleweight belt at UFC 248.
Okay, so when you think about the judges of this fight, right? Izzy landed no strikes in round 1. 3 strikes in round 1. Round 2, very little happened. 3 and 4, it looks like Izzy won the round.
Adesanya was over 10 years younger than Romero. It was considered one of the more boring fights, going all 5 rounds with little aggression from either fighter. Romero lost that fight, but we hope to see him go after that belt one more time. 43-year-old Marion Reneau may be the oldest fighter in the women's bantamweight division, but she certainly doesn't let that stop her. One of Reneau's first UFC fights was against fan favorite Jessica Andrade at UFC Fight Night 61.
Oh, Andrade is in trouble now. That is very well locked in. Looked like Andrade was looking to tap, and she does.
So how about Marion Reneau coming up large as the underdog? Just one career win by submission coming in, and she disposes of Jessica Andrade properly. How about it?
It was here Reneau won the first round via submission and got her Performance of the Night bonus. Another huge name in women's MMA that Reneau took on was none other than the Preacher's daughter, Holly Holm, at UFC Fight Night 71.
Holm looking for a takedown here. Reneau jumps guard, wants to help her out, confident with her submission game. Remember what she did to Andrade here.
While Reneau lost this fight by unanimous decision, the fight went all 3 rounds and made a name for Marion.
Get out of this position. Nice. Lovely finish there for Marion Reneau. A victory cry there from her as well.
After a TKO victory against Milana Dudieva at UFC Fight Night 99, Reneau has been fighting big names with mixed success. We certainly hope she stays in the game, so we can watch what the Belizean bruiser does next. Maurice Smith is a kickboxing legend who changed the UFC the moment he got in the ring at UFC 14.
A right hand by Maurice Smith and a combination. There's the kick to the head.
And he is now ahead. He is probably going to be ahead on the judges' card. He's taking it to Coleman, and Coleman's too tired.
Smith was a huge underdog, coming in as a UFC newbie to take on heavyweight champion Mark Coleman. But at the end of the fight, Smith took the win by unanimous decision and shocked the world by winning the belt. Smith was about 35 at the time, which may not seem too old. But for a sport that requires a lot of brutal blows to the body, he was definitely older than most. Smith spent a lot of time in several different platforms, such as Strikeforce, Pride, and Rings. One thing is certain, Maurice Smith is a legend in combat sports who absolutely deserved that Hall of Fame spot. Probably knew this guy was coming. Anderson the Spider Silva is 45 years old and only just retired after his recent match with Uriah Hall at UFC Fight Night 81. Silva's MMA career was not only long, but also successful. The Spider famously has the record for the longest championship reign in UFC history. Silva's masterful striking and unique style carried him through fights with mixed martial artists such as Dan Henderson, James Irvin, and Chael Sonnen.
And that was something an early turning point. That is an early turning point in this fight. That's a knee. Was that a knee to the face? Yes, it was. Big right hand. Looking to finish the fight. Chael's in trouble. It is all over. Anderson Silva remains the UFC middleweight champion.
Even after Anderson finally lost the belt to Chris Weidman at UFC 162, the Spider kept fighting. Many consider UFC 234, where Silva faced Israel Adesanya, a symbolic passing of the torch.
Adesanya. Silva trying to navigate distance, is able to avoid that left kick.
Adesanya has often cited Silva as his idol, and as a crafty striker himself, it seemed right that Adesanya continue the legacy. That fight won both mixed martial artists a Fight of the Night award. We couldn't do this video without talking about the very first double belt champion, 57-year-old Randy Couture. In his UFC debut against Tony Halma at UFC 13, Couture was 100 pounds lighter than his opponent, but it didn't seem to matter, because Couture scored a rear naked choke submission in under a minute.
And there's a punch by Couture. Look at him move.
Might want to choke here. Might look to choke here.
Trying to sink it. Couture trying to sink the choke in that big neck. There's the count.
And he's very quick.
When Randy moved on to the tournament final, he destroyed Stephen Graham by TKO in the first round.
Putting the leg in, he's going to try to stretch.
He's a little bit high there.
Now he's okay with the legs, and he stretches him. Now he's got him down on the ground.
Okay.
Now he can go ahead and swat.
Elbow to the head by Couture. Now punches to the back of the head.
That's
McCarthy steps in.
That's going to do it.
McCarthy stops the fight, and Couture wins it.
This was the beginning of a legendary MMA career for Couture. Couture was no stranger to fighting the best the UFC has to offer.
And his counters are wearing Chuck out. Chuck Liddell's in danger of being knocked out.
And there's a third takedown impressively by Randy Couture and stops this fight.
Randy Couture is going to stop Chuck Liddell.
Unbelievable!
Unbelievable!
Randy Couture becomes the first man
Unbelievable!
in UFC history to win a belt in two different weight classes.
From his rivalry with Chuck Liddell to the monster that is Brock Lesnar, this guy was winning fights at the age of 47. So it's no wonder he is widely regarded as one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. So who did we miss? Are there any older fighters you think deserve a shout out? Was Randy Couture really as good as people think he is? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and check back every week for more of the best of mixed martial arts. This is Ultimate MMA.